Hello everybody, Big Planes here. Now before I dive too deep into this video, I want to give a shout out to my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you to everybody over on Patreon who has helped us support the channel during these difficult economic times. And yeah, you guys really are one of the reasons why I'm actually able to build these planes. So I'm extremely grateful to everybody who's able to support on Patreon. If you want to go help the channel over on Patreon, I will leave a link in the description below. You don't have to, but it does help to build these planes. So yeah, a lot of progress since you last saw this. Now, I've just sort of decided to pound away and get some things done on this and come back to you with more progress than you would have seen before. So, let's talk about what we got going here. So, the first things first is I've begun to sort of wire all the engines and such together. So, if I could actually point the camera at the plane. So, I've got most of the motors in this point in the power functions, and the way I've actually built them into the plane is kind of interesting. So, I've done some research and I found that this thing is probably going to be tail heavy. Now, I hate to say that, I don't even have a tail, but I've looked at pictures and I've talked to some people who've made models of this at a smaller scale, of course, and they all said it has balancing issues. So, to try to combat that, I have put the battery packs in the IR receiver. I put the IR receiver right here. I put all the battery packs at the leading edge of the wing, and I've ordered some ballast bricks, those boat weight pieces, and I'm going to line them all the way up through the front here. So I'm going to try my hardest to prevent this thing from being tail heavy. Again, tail heavy. But you know, we're just going to see. I'm hoping I can keep it from tipping. So another thing that you guys are going to notice from this angle is I have finally installed most of the interior. Obviously, some things are not exactly in yet, but you can see that this right here it's sort of an interesting layout. So the pilot's right here. He will be sitting in a, sorry, gotta reach over here. He will be sitting in a little bubble canopy like this. Oops. Yeah, you get the point. He's sitting in a bubble canopy. And then right here is the co-pilot right there. He would be looking out the front window right here. Again, sorry about the shaky and blurry camera, but he would be looking out this window right here, and up here, that little bed right there next to him, that's the navigator. Not the navigator. That's the bombardier. He would look through the, I'm going to see if I can get my camera on there. You can kind of see it right there. He would look through the glass at the bottom of the plane and be able to sight the bombs. On the other side, you can see that we would have the flight engineer. He has his own little table there and everything and all that good stuff. And then over here, again, sorry about the shaky camera, I'm sort of bending over here. And then over here, you can see we have the radio operator. And of course, that right there is, that's the hatch when it's functioning correctly. But yeah, so some other stuff going on here. I got these flaps are killer flaps, and I'll show you why in a minute. But being able to function them when the engines are on is a bit of a dangerous task, but you can see that they do work. They're somewhat complicated, but they're sort of a Fowler flap design. On the real aircraft, I don't think they are a Fowler flap, but on mine I had to have sort of a sliding mechanism for this to work, but they come out, slide down. This will all integrate with the airfoil, look all nice. And right here you can see, just excuse the wires hanging out everywhere. This is the wheel well right here. The wheels do retract. I'm not going to demonstrate it now because it's sitting down. And then this right here, 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 and here. Those are all bomb bays. So of course both sides are 8 bomb bays. And I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be like crew quarters here, but I'm watching the weight on this thing. So yeah, so the flaps right here, I'm going to put this back down. I know you guys probably want to see the engines working, so I'm going to show those two right here. They are contra-rotating, and they are all hooked up, yay. So you can see what I've done here is on a lot of my planes before, I've used just the motors and I've hooked them straight up to a battery box. And that's great, except you only have one speed, and that's full speed. And that does kind of burn through the power pretty quickly. So I've hooked them up to a speed control on each one. I put a battery pack here and here. I think you already saw that. And the speed control can actually communicate through the air intake here at the front of the plane. So I don't have to pull anything off. I can just point the remote at the plane and it'll turn on. So speaking of that, this is the remote. You can see that just rotate it, and there we go. Spin it up to that speed. It's medium. Same with this. And you can kind of do like a startup sequence, like you can run it really slow. I think that's as slow as it goes. Again, I'm not running them at the full speed. And then you can switch the channel right here. And then, of course, the last fellow down there at the end. So, you can see that's what we're looking at here in terms of propellers. Again, they're all sort of spinning at different speeds right now, and yeah, I think, obviously I have not gotten the stickers yet on the back of them, so there will be yellow on the back as well. But when I said these flaps were kind of, how do I say this? A little tedious to operate from behind. You gotta kind of stick your hand under here and hope you don't hit your hand on the propeller. And you also have to be careful, I just touched it there. You also have to be careful that this flap does not extend out into the propellers. So it doesn't, it's very close, but it does work. So you can see that the engines are hooked up by using a Power Functions M motor. Try not to get the mic cable all tangled up in the engines. You can see it uses a motor, and then it uses a universal joint, apparently that's what they're called, and that's how it connects to the engines. Again, the engines are tilted upwards at quite a degree. You can see that when the thing is leaning back, that's how it looks. But yeah, that's pretty much what we got going here. It's pretty much it. Expect some more really good updates on this thing coming soon. I'm hoping that I can start doing the upper surface of the wing pretty soon here. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and there is more to come for sure. That's it for this one. Bye for now.